In this part, I'm going to talk specifically about the Horizon Report. This is a report that's put out annually by the New Media Consortium and by EDUCAUSE. I have my mobile phone is right here. This is my iPhone. It looks kind of ugly because it's covered in plastic, but I got one, and this is one of the most popular phones. I gave up my BlackBerry for this phone, but BlackBerry is a big competitor to iPhone, and it's also part of this smartphone generation. I mentioned Facebook, and Facebook has an app for the iPhone, and I don't know if I can get this in close enough. I'll hold this up, and you can see the F here for Facebook, and I'm going to press it, and I'll let you see the interface here for a second. Now, if you've used Facebook on a computer, you can see it's designed a little bit differently here. There are 3 tabs running across the top. But one of my favorite parts of the interface is that below this tab, this is the newsfeed tab, there's this little scroll bar here. And I don't know if you can see that on the computer or not, but you can scroll left or right. And in this case, I'll pick photos, because I did mention that there's tons of photos, and then photos from friends in my social group come up. Google has what are known as farms, data farms, and they've taken their computers and they've hooked them all together so that this Moore's Law processing power that doubles every year, in this case they have an array of computers that kind of act as one huge supercomputer, and they can keep on hooking up single servers and single computers into this array, into this giant computer with this giant computing power. What that means is they're able to do the work, they're able to scale work up and down as they want. And if they need a job done quickly, they'll put more computers into the array and get that stuff done faster. If the job is smaller, they'll take them out and they'll use them for a different purpose. And it's moving along at a very quick clip. You can pretty much customize any kind of processing you want by going to companies like Google or other larger companies and farming out to your work to them, and they'll be able to process what you need. If you have a GPS system in your car, TomTom is a popular one. Garmin is another popular brand name. You know that you can get a map of the city you're driving around in, and it's pretty much talking with a satellite up above you at every second so that it's tracking you and you know exactly where you are. Now, these devices that do this are going to be put literally into everything. These GPS devices are getting smaller because of the processing power of Moore's Law. They're getting smaller and more powerful, and you'll see them in everything. They'll be put anywhere that's possible where data might be gathered for some reason. This is also a technology that's coming in 3, 4, 5 years down the line. Already you can see it in Facebook and the iPhone that there are applications that I can pick and choose to put in. So I'm not saying that Facebook is the one. Something else can and most likely will emerge that will help you to, and like blog-based, it will help you to organize your community of practice around you. It'll help to organize your network, your social networks, and all the things that interest you, kind of like a giant e-portfolio. These are things, again, like objects that now know the context of where they are and within what context they sit. Right now, if you know anything about a website called Delicious, for example, that is a website where you can keep your bookmarks in a public and social area, and your bookmark you can classify in a lot of different ways. Usually it's called tagging. These semantic aware applications do this automatically without me having to classify it or organize it. And these are objects that pretty much encompass all the other things I've been talking about. They're objects that know what they are. They're objects that know where they are. They're objects that know who they are owned by, and they're able to indicate and transmit that information to wherever they go. So there already are hints of these kind of objects coming in that know what they are, what position they are, where they belong, and they know their entire context. But more importantly, they're able to transmit this context out to, again, whatever kind of users are interested in them. Let's take a look at this slide where Gale in 2006 has said, very simply, that the idea of the university is changing to accommodate the potentials of distance and distributed education, the realities of online research, and international as well as interdisciplinary collaboration facilitated by communications technologies. There are paradigm shifts that need to occur. They are occurring in some universities, they're occurring at different speeds. But look at the exponential growth of all of these technologies, Google, Facebook, Dig, but they are all growing at a pace that is beyond explosive and really beyond the comprehension. Education is going to be even more social than it is now. Personal networks are gaining in importance. It's going to be more collaborative. Google Docs, for example, makes it so that the Microsoft suite of products are on the web and collaborative. Most people don't know that a Wikipedia article, you can look at the article and look at the complete history of the article from the first day somebody contributed to every revision. This is a really important thing, I think, for scholars that a lot of academics don't know about Wikipedia yet, and the potential for project use and collaborative building of knowledge is quite amazing. Interactive. It's just going to be a world where you are going to be able to meet and talk with people all over in all different places at all different times and give them objects that will follow around and give you lots of data if you'd like to be. It's not just acting with other people, but it will be interactive with other objects. Adaptive. What this means, of course, is that it's going to be highly personalized and specialized the way people are going to learn. We're not going to be sitting in desks. We're not all going to be starting our class in January. We're not all going to be using textbook A. It's also going to be interdisciplinary. You're going to see a lot of cooperation and collaboration between and among all disciplines. It's going to be aggregated. All of these sites are about taking small bits of data and seeing a bigger picture. It's also going to be distributed. You're not necessarily going to do all the work on your own. You're not necessarily going to do work with your partner next door or in the same school or in the same country. And it's also going to be virtual. A lot of this stuff is going to be done online. It's going to be done in real time, too. This type of learning is going to be multilingual, multicultural, multilocative, multifaceted, multi-structured, and multichromatic. What I mean by all of these, of course, is that it's going to be done in many different languages with many different cultural bases and worldviews on how the work needs to be done, or it gets structured, or it gets finished. It's going to be done in multi-locations by multiple people. It's going to have many different sides to look at. It's not going to be black and white or simple. It's going to be quite complex. Multichromatic here means time, not just place, but time. You're going to be able to work piecemeal here and there. You're going to be working with people in different time zones around the world, and you could possibly be a teacher of a class with 8 students who live in 8 different countries and 8 different time zones. With that said, I just want to go back to those 2 pictures that I showed you at the beginning of part 1, the one of my great-great-great-grandmother and my great-grandmother and my daughter, and think about the leaps that have happened in the last 150 years in education and how my ancestors learned and traveled and how that picture happened, that analog picture, and how I was able to find that picture actually, which I found through a collaborative website. I found some of my second cousins and they sent me that picture. I said, wow, that's my great-grandmother and my great-great-great-grandmother. And I'm also fascinated that my daughter is very good at taking pictures with the cell phone, and you see that on Facebook and MySpace. And kids know how to use this media. They're digital natives, and we need to accommodate them for that.